It is March 13th, 2022. Now, this looks strange and odd. However, Q-tip being what it is, or it's antiseptic. It's Povidone Iodine, 10%. It's a topical antiseptic and germicide. To prevent infection. It's first aid. It's the only aid I have at the moment. I went to go look for iodine in capsule form, but they don't sell that in the pharmacy. And as far as doctors here are concerned, it looks like a Yahtzee-Chotsy problem with what New York is running and serving over here with I don't know whose permission under this fake false king during a time where the local school alerts me with paper that there's unrest 43 years into living here and about some American Revolutionary War after 43 years living here. Almost like after the fact, like we're already here, deal with it. That's what it feels like. On the television today, however, the Sunday morning show that Lynn likes with Jane Pauley, which I listen to with a grain of salt, they put something on about the Russian Orthodox Church approved a special mission in Russia. I'm really not sure what that means. But it is another side of the whatever. There was somebody who was saying, again, for me, it's Jew noir and sin noir. It's two sides of black. Everybody's, well, not everybody, but it's whatever. There's things going on that need to be done. There's things that are going on that are, I don't know. And it's hard to be in a moment and know. So this is what they mentioned today.
The singularity of the state-run media is impossible to escape. The Russian military is portrayed as doing God's work. Even the Russian Orthodox Church has endorsed the so-called special operation as a moral imperative. And if you're wondering just how Vladimir Putin can convince so many good people to believe in such bad things, consider this.
Propaganda rests on.
That's kind of the narrative they've been playing off of, but I don't hear the bad things. It's not like in New York, the media's come out and said, here are the itemized list of what he's saying, and we'll stand behind it if our lives are ever in question. They don't do that. They just throw it out there. And then, I don't know, it's just the most bizarre human behavior.
On what people already believe, what people already think they feel, the things that they accept at their deepest level.
It's like this is how the theater's been playing out.
Nicole has studied propaganda most of his life. He's a professor of public diplomacy at the University of Southern California.
By alleging that Ukraine is dominated by Nazis and that it is necessary for him to...
By Nazis? What do you mean? Are you talking nosy people? Which nosy people? Are they the nosy people that are looking to care and find their relatives that have been wounded by the large disruption and displacement Are you talking about the ones that are trying, like, I mean, in my area, I don't know what California looks like, but in New York, it looks like someone moved in that's not rock, paper, scissors and secure for my son's future and my appearance the last 43 years and my mom's. I mean, we didn't get anywhere. We didn't get good jobs. I didn't get to go study something and perhaps read the situation wrong. So it gets confusing even with these short clips of narrative.
Repeat the historic mission of the as it was then, Soviet Union in defeating Nazis. This is incredibly powerful stuff to invoke.
Как не замечает и прямых
Народная
противоречий.
милиция Донецкой Народной Республики в сфере внешнеэкономической деятельности в целях
What's different is
Are they my nosy people? Are they the ones that one day want to take me in, feed me, clothe me, and give me a place to contribute and grow the whatever in heavenly estate? Or are we talking like the nosies like in New York where there's about 15 different shaped noses, none familial, and they're just running around like chickens without a head? I mean, it's how we got to this level of disgusting where you get microwaved walking out on the street with radio frequency and misbroadcast in the wrong frequency because nobody knows what the hell they're doing.
he says it's just how many lie.
That's on my 22 double Z side. I have no idea what happens in the 55 double S zone. I can just see on my face and by my weight and by Linda's weight that there is really something wrong with the amount of radio frequency around here.
Lies are being spread.
The volume of disinformation coming out of Russia over the last 4 years is unprecedented.
Something like 2/3 of Russians are in favor of the war because the war that they're approving of is not the actual war that's happening.
Just this past week,
Is that new money, old money fighting? Like, again, the ones that we can tell you stuff, we can't tell you stuff.
when disturbing pictures emerged of a bloody pregnant woman stumbling out of a
Now, what's interesting about this particular piece is there's no citation of where the images are coming from. So I don't understand how they get them on the media, or if they're whatever, just informational. But they don't have a year, they don't have anything, whatever.
to be the spark that ignites a revolution.
What's the one thing you'd want the average person in Russia to know about what's going on?
We fully support those who find courage to speak up and to resist their government, knowing that most likely they will go to jail. And I just want to hug those people and tell them thank you. We just need more of those kinds of people in Russia to speak up and to stand up against their own dictator.
This is David Pogue. From the beginning of Russia's war on Ukraine, protesters have filled the streets around the world.
Again, I don't even like this narrative because it's just so junior versus senior in the theater, and really neither side knows what's going on, and it's just massive confusion, which works at a certain level outside of special operation, but it's like, it's all been spoken of on some level before. But there are pieces woven in some of this stuff that I fast forward through, where there are like little nuggets of stuff. This one was interesting. It's a teenage girl, and again, it's in a 55 double S zone. They got something special going on. I don't want to be caught in the middle of that, but there's this one girl, and I'm thinking just as an individual, she wants to assert in her junior category, of course. She's not a senior or anything. She's fresh on the scene, but she will inherit the world at some point, and the adults, what they do might not make sense to her in her innocence of not being on the field or witnessing enough or having the right, I don't know her situation. Mine, I never had the right leaders at home, so it got really psychologically torturous. But for her, she decides to attend a rally or a protest. I was never that bold. I had enough at home. And then they sit her down, they want her to sign papers, and she won't. But it's like it's constantly that psychological warfare of testing, like, and I get senior section versus when they speak, I'm like, yeah, I get it. There is some other stuff going on that's even in my 22 double Z zone that really, oh, it's just taken pieces of the cake and made it like a whole separate confusing while both sides are going off in 55 and 22s are in their own separate leagues at the moment, and yet there's a dance going on, but yet there's got to be some crossover, and God help me.
Was among 1,500 protesters in St. Petersburg. That's Eva in the yellow jacket. Eva says that she was held at a police station for 28 hours and ordered to sign a statement of guilt.
And I said, I'm not signing it because I don't think I'm guilty. They got just crazy and they tried to scare me with, 20 years of jail.
But that wasn't the worst part.
They can change your mind. They say something and you start to doubt maybe they're right. And I saw how people get broken.
It's very
People do get broken, but it's even worse when you arrive to this brokenness where your parents are already broken and your inheritance in monetary value is nil, and the amount of dire consequence is growing in this really sharp-toothed manner, and it's like a black hole vortex, like just crushing in on you because you're all by yourself and you can't find others, and there's already broken in your local area and you don't know how to escape their brokenness.
risky to take to the street. If you participate in the protest for the first time, you can be sent to prison up to 15 days, the second time 30 days, and third time it will be a criminal case. So it's 5 years of prison.
Dmitry Gudkov was a Russian parliament member from 2011 to 2016. He openly opposed Vladimir Putin's regime. After receiving threats, he and his family fled the country last June.
Putin decided to get rid of all opponents, of all politicians in the parliament, because I think that he was planning this invasion in Ukraine.
I don't know what parliament really is or means or looks like. Over here it looks like the Congo Congress, and that's frightening enough. I don't know what parliament actually means and what they look like.
Can a protest do anything?
In the parliament, because I think that it's impossible. It is still very risky, and it's not efficient at all.
A special military operation. But I believe that that's how we can show our protest and our respect to Ukrainian people. Furthermore, we want people from other countries to see that our government is not us. Russian people is not Russian government.
Are you more afraid now to do?
I think that's how I feel about America at the moment, because I can't figure out how many faces of America speak.
to do another protest?
Yes, and I understand that I can get in a huge trouble, but it doesn't stop me. You still have to go and go and go because you know that it's correct. You must support people, you must show your position.
Are you at all worried about showing your face on television?
You know, a little bit, but I want people to see that I am a real person, that I have face, I have voice. So really, I want my face to be here.
Are you a very unusual, brave, courageous person, or are there lots of people like you?
I don't think I'm an extraordinary girl. No, I'm just a girl. I'm sure that there are a lot of people like me in Russia. In protest, I can see that.
Now, this is very interesting for me because, I mean, again, the sunflower, but it is very citron blue.
Valencia and Florida by...
Now, this was interesting. They have a story, a people they call Jewish, which I've heard, but with multiple country references. But again, I don't really know what it means. I listen to each as if it's something brand new, because to me it is. And they tell this story of this cookie, and then they tell this story of what's in some Bible format. But the way that they pronounce it, it's Esther and Hunan. It sounds like human, like human? Because that's what I've been saying. The humans are broken. They're off in my area on 22ZZ. The human. But again, is it like the Kiev? Again, puzzle pieces being the way that they're scattered at the moment.
Tips her hat to the cookie that all but defines the holiday.
And then it says something about Monta chien. I'm like, wait. Les États-Unis, mon chien. Chien? A pocket dog? I don't. Again.
This week at Fred's Bakery in New York City, one cookie is bound to outsell the rest.
Hamantaschen are the most perfect little cookie. The most requested item that we get to continue to do all year is Hamantaschen.
Really?
Yes, and you're getting the first look at these. We have
Gadi Peleg is the bakery's owner.
So those are chocolate.
I have never heard of these things before. Not in this manner. My aunt, my Zia, I call her Aunt Vicky, but she's a Di Filippo. She uses croissants and chicken salad, and she used to make these chicken pockets, she would call them, and they'd be in this shape, but it wasn't like at a bakery. It's interesting.
Hamantaschen, sort of like a brownie nestled inside the cookie.
Yum.
Hamantaschen are triangular-shaped cookies,
Apricot, made with a delicious apricot jam.
traditionally filled with poppy seed or jam.
It's the perfect cookie because it contains what I call the golden ratio of cookie. There is exactly a 1-to-1 ratio of filling to crust.
They're served during the Jewish holiday of Purim, which begins Wednesday.
So the story of Purim is actually one of the more dramatic stories in the Bible. It's actually the only story.
Is that per home? Because again, Perle, Perheim, it just sounds like per home, and then the problem is the human and their brokenness.
Story in the Hebrew Bible that doesn't mention God. It's a purely human drama, and it is extremely dramatic.
Stephanie Butnick is deputy editor of Tablet Magazine and host of the podcast Unorthodox. She explains the story of Purim begins in ancient Persia with a king, a queen, and a villain, the king's advisor Haman, or as some say, Haman.
That's it. Haman sounds like human if you pronounce things differently.
And Haman hates the Jews. What he does not know is that Esther, the queen, is secretly Jewish. And so when he basically cooks up this plot to kill all the Jews in ancient Persia, Esther decides that if she wants to save the Jews, she has to out herself, essentially, as being Jewish.
So Esther confronts the king and ultimately convinces him to stop Haman's plot.
The Jews get saved, Haman gets killed, and that's the holiday we celebrate today.
The pastry, however, wasn't baked into the holiday until the 16th century, when it was inspired by the German cookie Montaschen.
The 16th century. Oh, were those great days. Unlike the 20th century, which has been a real non ci bene per lei. Montaschen. Except je sais, les États-Unis.
Mon meaning poppy seed, and Tosh meaning pocket.
And so Haman is the villain of the Purim story, and so Jews sort of said, wait, what if we call this cookie a Hamantaschen and we can eat it on Purim? And now we have these Hamantaschen, which are technically Haman's pockets. And people say it's Haman's ears, people say it's Haman's hat. So we've sort of just made this cookie into what it is that we want it to be.
And as the meaning of the triangle has evolved, so has Hamantaschen itself. Do you see me waiting? Can I try one?
I think we should.
At Bread's Bakery, they're cooking up new flavors. Pizza Hamantaschen, anyone?
That's so good.
And classics like Poppy.
Pizza or Poppy?
But basically, all I'm doing is I'm connecting these points, and I end up getting a beautiful Hamantaschen.
Is that the acceptance of a new human in New York? Just curious, since we are like the whatever for pizza.
One down.
One down. Thousands more to go.
Yep.
The process of making Hamantaschen is relatively simple, and the significance of the triangle even a little silly. But when put in context, Stephanie Butnick says it's a recipe for what Jewish celebrations are all about.
I think to me it's this Jewish spirit of resilience and celebration that we actually eat a cookie named after one of the top 3 villains in Jewish history.
Yeah, it's like
Top villain? Humans.
taking a bite of Jewish people's survival.
Yes, they tried to kill us, we won, let's eat a delicious cookie.
Still have plenty of work to do.
This portion of Sunday Morning is brought to you by Mass General Brigham, when you need some of the brightest minds in medicine.
I don't know who's attached to that one. This is interesting. It's one of the comedians. She says surviving Saturday Night Live is like an emergency room. And then it makes reference. At some point, I caught it. I mean, instead of paper clip, she's got something referred to as paper cut.
You feel really excited that you survived it.
My ears are ringing.
And you also might die if you're there too long. This is my last show, and it is
Not wanting to die, Poehler left SNL after 8 seasons to play the role that may very well end up defining her career. Leslie Knope.
As a private citizen, I have personally patronized each and every one of your establishments. I've never seen you buy a salad at C's Salad. It's because I don't hate myself, Tanya. I'm sorry. I know I should be chasing your vote, but I stand behind my decision to avoid salad and other disgusting things.
Knope could have been just another 2-dimensional sitcom character,
Oh, ice cream sandwich taste test.
but Poehler and the show's writers managed to do something pretty remarkable with Leslie Knope. They created an entire approach to life. This is a whole thing that a lot of people, particularly women, see as a way of viewing their world and their existence.
Yeah, I think what she represented was this person in a job that felt like it had a low ceiling, but she had a lot of big hopes and dreams, and she was trying to figure out how to work the system or have the system work for her without losing her sense of joy, spirit, without it crushing her.
While Hollywood can have a crushing effect on many people, particularly women, Poehler has found a way to thrive and grow into an influential producer in her own right.
You ever watch like nature documentaries and magpies grab shiny things to build a nest? That's what I've done here.
Inside her production office, she showed us some of the mementos she's accumulated over the years.
This was the Pawnee seal that was on set and behind Leslie's desk, and I stole it, and now I put it behind my desk.
And this is your real desk where you actually produce things for your production company, Paper Kite.
Yeah.
Do you ever like look back at the Pawnee seal and think like, let me try to channel that optimism or energy or whatever it is that Leslie had?
It's nice to have it behind me because I worked with it behind me for so long, so many years.
I think it's interesting too that this is your
I really didn't clean up my
day
desk for
planner?
this. Okay.
Because this is amazing that you're still
You're
using.
not allowed to look at that.
Okay. Along with producing a variety of projects.
Now this is an interesting statistic that they put up here. They call it Sunday Morning Pulse. Americans owe at least $190 billion in medical debt, even though 90% of the population has health coverage. 16 million people owe more than 1,000 in medical bills. 3 million owe more than 10,000. That's the Peterson Kaiser Family Foundation and Health System Tracker. Now here's the kicker on this word they use. See this right here? They call it debt. If I get rid of the D, it becomes the electronic deposit transfer system. I mean, it's in this area, they have these electronic cards that they've been living with, meaning the problem in New York City that doesn't seem to want to leave or clear up on its own. They live off of this electronic EBT system. I don't know who funds those cards. Comes somewhere through the state. But what happens is then there's others that think they're earning something called equity. And they've got this internal mechanic I'm not crazy about and I'm not okay with. So they lie to the authorities saying, no, we're okay being here because we've earned equity. No, you haven't. You have some mini micro economy running itself in lands that did not give you permission. So I'm a little confused how that keeps going on between EBT system welfare and then the equity owners, promoters, and music moguls. Right, yeah, no, see, we were already on to you. We have the rock, paper, scissors in our favor. And there's a lot of human intervention and problem building some system inside of a system that did not give it permission. And now it looks like it's made itself a home. And it's making germ warfare and chemical weapons and things go on like they're innocent inoculations. We do it in third world nations. All right, no, because here I've already caught you in the act of trying to purposely give me radiation for a thyroid disease you said I had, I couldn't confirm I had, in order to knock out my metabolism, to disfigure me further. I've already caught the medical staff with turbans, I think they call themselves Sikh, doing that to me in New York City. So I'm a little confused. And then at Judy's bedside was some dark figure waiting for her to take her last breath somewhere in the New York City health system. Don't know how that got. She couldn't even get a white doctor at her deathbed? Really, New York City? How disgusting have you all become? That's refusing someone on their deathbed of their personal preference and religious rights. That's a major problem and major violation in anywhere you go in puzzle pieces. And that happened in a 22ZZ by the inside New York City. Now here's statistics I can't figure out. It says coronavirus update. 63% of Americans believe the coronavirus situation is getting better. That's up from 20% in January and the highest percentage since before the Delta variant. That's Gallup poll. Now I'm just curious, who the hell are these people? Which Americans? Are these the ones that stick American after a different continent of people because they know North America is not where they originated from, or has this other system that they don't fit the profile? I'm just curious when they take these things. Are they that specific, or do they just lump everybody into some like pot of lie to everybody and then confuse one another? Oh my God, this is a cute story. There's like one white school left somewhere in America, North America. Oh, there's still one holdout. I mean, it doesn't exist on where my ocean is, but it's on the opposite coast. But they did feature it, and I was like, there is a glimmer of hope. Hold on.
Union Grade School in Healdsburg, California.
It's got a union. Maybe that's the trick.
Yeah. We found all the inspiration you'll ever need.
Okay, 1.
Just hit record.
3.
If you're feeling deflated, do what you like best. It reinflates you.
Pearls like that.
Fabulous.
Little
Because remember, they still have a world and a future to inherit. And I don't see a single person in this corridor fighting for their security, genetic security and safety, and for them to even have a place to have a voice in some future.
unscripted motivational gems are being collected and cataloged for this free telephone hotline.
Hi, welcome to Pep Talk, a public art project by Westside School. If you're feeling mad, frustrated, or nervous, press 1. Go get your wallet and spend it on ice cream and shoes.
That sounds like Latin America coming through the kid's microphone. I don't know why, because that is not what I'm telling my kids.
Whatever your worry, they've got a solution.
If you need words of encouragement, press 2. Be grateful for yourself.
Whatever your insecurity, they'll restore confidence.
And just remember, your parents are so sorry for what they did.
If you need a pep talk from kindergartners, press 3. You can do it!
I can, great, because I'm tired of asking my parents for permission, because they really fucked up the world before I entered it, and it's only gotten worse.
Hotline is the brainchild of teachers Ashera Weiss and Jessica Martin. They thought family and friends might enjoy calling the number, but
there's no way you could have imagined what happened.
No, it was very shocking.
Pep Talk is now getting up to 9,000 calls per hour, roughly 500,000 total and counting.
They live in like this little piece of paradise. I mean, oh my God, the difference between your world and mine. In New York, I walked my son to school today knowing this school year beginning, he was one of 3 kids in the schoolyard that had blonde hair. The rest were from countries I couldn't even put my finger on at the moment in puzzle pieces because they don't announce it. Just I know that this is not their first stop. They moved from somewhere else. And I don't seem to have a voice in any of this. Nobody asked my permission, even though they have a house here and they paid pay taxes. Nobody asked if it was okay if these unknown country puzzle pieces just descended and threw their kids into a locked room with my own. Nobody asked my permission. I mean, it's just, they just assumed they'd make room for themselves and just not have to deal with us at all. It's a real problem on personal freedoms.
A big thing. Spread it all around the world. I I was not expecting it to go this viral.
Miss Jessica is really good at making a hotline.
I don't think it's her. I think it's you guys.
Okay. People in school did a great job.
They sure did.
You guys gave a gift to the world.
And the teachers say it's more than those messages.
Adults support children, but we don't really celebrate how much they support us. And to be able to be comforted by them gives us great hope that maybe we're all going to be okay.
And if you ever doubt that, you know who to call.
Be happy! Thank you, everyone. I'm so proud of you.
And then let's take a look at what New York City schools did this week. Oh wait, before we get to Mayor Adams and New York City schools, in between is this Will Smith character. Looks like this. He calls himself this. And it's on this. She's bringing the story forward.
Gail King has our Sunday profile.
While my city is under besiegement, he was one of the American success stories, according to them. He went from like nothing to rose gardens with tea. I mean, it's just, and tennis. I wouldn't know how to get to a tennis court that I could play on. I don't have any contacts in my phone. But it's amazing how the lives are so different and the voices are so different in the same area.
You're real serious. Okay. All
Okay,
right,
Will.
see?
Prepare.
Okay, yeah, I see you're not.
for you.
You are not playing around. Just so you know, I'm not a tennis player.
No, but Will Smith is a pretty good instructor.
There you go. Okay.
Serving up tips.
No more flexing your knees.
Okay.
All right, it's all fun and games till someone loses an eye.
And quips. Are you distracted by my beauty?
Yeah, it's like the sunshine. I'm just like, you just bringing the sunshine to the court.
The eye has been lost since elementary school when the marriage didn't go correctly. So it's all fun and games till you lose the eye? Yeah, you lost the eye, kiddos. But they keep on playing tennis and fanciful betting games.
Beautiful.
Smith picked up a racket for his latest film, King Richard. In the Oscar-nominated performance,
The most powerful, the most dangerous creature on this whole earth.
he plays the father of Venus and Serena Williams.
It's a woman who know how to think. Ain't nothing she can't do. Y'all know how to think?
It's like a backwards compliment because I know what Junoir and Senoir means by this, but the problem is the entire this is not just one isolated example, it's the entourage around this theatrical resistance that is the problem at Les États-Unis.
Determined to turn his daughters into champions on and off the court.
Elle est Pierre de Résistance. Totally different.
The court. For many people, it didn't seem that Richard...
And qui, it's très difficile.
Richard Williams knew what he was doing.
He wasn't doing what people thought he was doing.
Here's a little bit of backwards truth that I don't know if everybody's going to catch.
He did.
He was trying to build his family, right? He was using tennis to cultivate his family, to cultivate values. You're not going to just be representing you. You're going to be representing every little black girl on earth.
At 53...
That's a lot of voices in a theater when there's other more dangerous things going on. How are you curbing that enthusiasm? I'm just curious.
Will Smith knows a lot about value. He is a global superstar, selling millions of albums, billions at the box office, conquering the big screen.
I make this look good.
Small screen, and now is a best-selling author. Make no mistake, this memoir is not sugar-coated.
My suffering helped me.
I'm not going through his personal story because I really don't give a shit. But that's a big empire that's just prevalent on this side of the whatever. Now here's what the show showed. Does this look like almost like a mini White House? I'm just curious for those that had ambitions during this unrest in the American colonies and misinstructing the helpful, good people with guns and responsibilities.